In the shadowed golden courts of the mighty Ashanti Empire, a princess, a niece of the great Osei Tutu Afers, faced a choice that would echo through centuries: loyalty or exile. This is the story of Queen Abla Pokou and the birth of the Baoulé people. Around the mid-1700s, following the death of the revered Ashanti king, a bitter succession dispute ripped through the royal family. Power struggles are nothing new in history, but this one was different. It wasn't just about a throne, it was about the very soul of a people. On one side was Akan, a claimant to the throne. On the other, his own sister, Princess Abla Pokou. She saw the storm clouds gathering, the whispers of betrayal turning into open threats. She knew that to stay in Kumasi, the heart of the Ashanti Empire, meant certain death for her and her followers. And so she made a fateful decision. Gathering all those who dissented, all those who feared the new regime, she rallied them. It was a monumental undertaking, an exodus of thousands. They turned their backs on the familiar golden stools and sprawling palaces of their homeland in modern-day Ghana, and began a perilous journey westward into the unknown. Imagine the scene. A massive column of people, men, women, and children, marching through dense, unfamiliar forests, crossing vast savannas under a relentless sun. They were leaving everything behind, guided only by the courage and determination of their princess. They faced rival tribes, wild animals, and the constant threats of disease and starvation. This was not just a migration. It was a desperate flight for survival, a quest for a new home where they could live in freedom. Their journey took them towards the lands of what we now call Côte d'Ivoire. They traveled for weeks, their numbers dwindling, but their spirit unbroken. Finally, they reached a formidable obstacle, a final barrier between them and their promised land, the mighty Comoé River. But it was the rainy season. The river was a raging, impassable torrent, its waters churned, swollen and violent, blocking their path to safety. They were trapped. Behind them, the pursuing armies of the new Ashanti king were closing in. Before them, a watery grave. Despair began to creep into the hearts of the weary travelers. In this desperate moment, the group's diviner, the spiritual guide who communed with the ancestors and the spirits of the land, approached Queen Pokou. The message from the river god was grim, its demand unthinkable. The spirit of the Comoé required a sacrifice. Not just any sacrifice, but the most precious offering the people possessed. All eyes turned to the queen. They had offered gold, ivory, and precious beads, but the river remained wild and unforgiving. The diviner's words hung heavy in the air. The river demanded a child of noble blood, a royal child. Queen Pokou looked at her people, their faces etched with fear and exhaustion. Then she looked down at the infant son she held in her arms, her only child, the heir to her legacy. The future of her people rested on her shoulders, and the weight of it was crushing. What followed is one of the most powerful and heartbreaking moments in West African history. With tears streaming down her face, understanding the terrible price of her people's survival, Queen Pokou walked to the edge of the roaring river. She held her baby aloft for one last look, a mother's love warring with a queen's duty. Then she uttered the words that would name her people and seal their destiny. "Baoulé," she cried, which in the Akan language means, "the child is dead." With that final agonizing cry, she sacrificed her son to the churning waters. The legend tells us that the moment the child disappeared beneath the waves, the river's fury subsided. A path miraculously opened. Some versions of the story say a line of hippopotamuses formed a living bridge across the water. Others say the river simply parted, allowing the refugees to cross on dry land. Whatever the form of the miracle, the path to freedom was clear. Heartbroken but resolute, the queen led her people across the Comoé River. They had paid the ultimate price, but they had survived. They were no longer just Ashanti dissenters. They were a new people, forged in tragedy and sacrifice. They called themselves the Baoulé, forever carrying the memory of the infant prince whose life had purchased their future. Once across the river, they settled in the savannas of central Côte d'Ivoire. Queen Pokou established the foundations of a new kingdom. They built villages, cultivated the land, and established a society that blended their rich Akan heritage with new traditions shaped by their incredible journey. The Baoulé became renowned for their agricultural prowess, particularly with yams, and for their exquisite artistry. Their intricate gold work and stunning wooden sculptures became famous throughout the region. The kingdom she founded was built on a matrilineal system, where lineage and inheritance are traced through the mother's side, a direct legacy of their founding queen. After Pokou's death, her niece, Akwaboni, took the throne. An equally formidable leader, Queen Akwaboni expanded the kingdom through strategic alliances and military conquests, cementing the Baoulé's position as a dominant power in the region. They became one of the most powerful Akan states, a testament to their resilience and the strength of their leadership. For over a century, the Baoulé Kingdom thrived, a bastion of culture and independence. They resisted attempts at subjugation, including from the expanding French colonial empire in the late 19th century, fighting fiercely to protect the homeland born from such a profound sacrifice. But history is never as simple as the legends we tell. Was the sacrifice of Queen Pokou a literal event, or is it a powerful allegory? Some historians and oral traditions suggest the story might be a metaphor for the immense hardships and losses endured during the migration. Could "the child is dead" signify the death of their old life as Ashanti, the loss of their past, to be reborn as Baoulé? Others whisper of a darker interpretation. Could the story of the sacrifice be a way to mask a more human betrayal? Perhaps the succession dispute was even bloodier than we know, and the flight was fueled by secrets far more complex than a simple power grab. Legends often serve to legitimize power and unify a people. What better way to create a sacred bond for a new nation than a shared story of a divine sacrifice made by their founding mother? The truth may be lost to the mists of time, swirling in the currents of the Comoé River. But what remains undeniable is the legacy of Queen Pokou. Whether she was a heartbroken mother who made an impossible choice or a masterful leader who spun a foundational myth, she guided her people from the brink of annihilation to the birth of a powerful and enduring nation. Her story is a powerful reminder of the strength of women in African history, the incredible sacrifices made for freedom, and the way in which identity is forged in the fires of adversity. The Baoulé people of today are the living legacy of her courage, their culture a vibrant tapestry woven from threads of sorrow, hope, and an unbreakable will to survive. So the next time you hear the name Baoulé, remember the queen, the river, and the cry that echoed through history. The child is dead. A cry of ultimate loss, but also of a new beginning. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the past. What do you think about Queen Pokou's story? Do you believe the sacrifice was real, or is it a powerful metaphor? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more incredible histories. See you next time.